Boom, we are pre-recorded today, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to be looking at what we figure is the top 3 choices that Bitcoin has to make as a direction right now. There are a bullish and another awkward bullish and then a bearish sentiment. We've actually gone over this in the private Bear Den newsletter, but for all of you that are interested, let's go over now. Okay, so here on the chart, we have a Bitcoin open on the weekly. Now let's start first and foremost with my bearish scenario because I currently believe it is the least likely and it's what everyone wants to hear the least as well. So let's start off with the least fun of all the choices that we have today. And let's start off by actually drawing our Elliott wave corrective on our ABC here. Now, back when we originally broke down on Bitcoin here down to around $3,000, we were expecting a B wave upwards of around $5,000 to $6,000. But instead, we saw a move all the way up to around 13,000. Now, B-wave correctives can still sit in this area of correction, and we've mentioned this many times before. If it looks unhealthy, it's probably a B-wave. Although when we go back into Bitcoin's previous history on the log chart, we do see that in 2012 and 2013, there was an unhealthy growth market when we went from around $200 up to $1,000 during the crypto crisis, or sorry, the banking crisis in Cyprus. Now, if this are a C-wave corrective, we could go down as low as $1,500 to $3,000. This is the least likely of the scenarios, but it's still on the table. The reason we want to address this is because we always have to look at both the positive and negative effects that might be coming out of the market as we move forward. Now, the next set on the list of these 2 indicators are both of our bullish signals. Now, the first bullish signal that we're going to start off with is the one that I think that we're currently in, unless proven otherwise. $7,700 is a very, very important mark for this, and we're going to show you why we believe so now. So, for those of you that have been following us for quite some time, you know that I think, this is just conjecture, that we are in a 4th wave, which is generally marked by some awkward feeling of consolidation while we go sideways. You can see it in the comments. Many people are going, well, which way is Bitcoin going to go? How is it going to do anything? Come on, Bitcoin, I wish you would just go up or go down. These are the sentiments that are generally marked by a 4th wave. They're awkward and they move sideways. Now we have some very, very strong aligning factors. So as we zoom in here on Bitcoin, we can see down here near the $7,500 area, we have our 21-day moving average. We have the top of the Ichimoku cloud, and we have multiple supports of our exponential moving averages here as well into the middle of the cloud. If we look back in previous history, we can also see that back here we have the support of the cloud leading up to the $7,700 to $7,500 area. If we bounce out of this particular area, I think we're going to see an extended 7th. Now, these are not normal, but the crypto space has proven itself to be anything but normal. So let's look at it this way. This we believed was a 1 with an awkward 2 wave, a 3, and then a 4, and then a 5 potential moving us into the $20,000 area with, again, an extended 7. This could bring us as high as 24,000. Now, what's interesting about this is we have to remember that there are 2 different ways to look at this wave. So this is the first case for a bullish scenario, and this is actually where I think we are, although there is a lot of evidence that is going to bring us into this particular contention. Now, I went over this with our legal team yesterday, and we thought it was a smashing idea. So our third case is actually also a bullish scenario, which brings us upwards of $50,000, but how it gets there is much slower. The idea here now is that instead of looking at this as a 3rd and a 4th wave, now we're looking at this as just a 1 wave. And then this was a 5th wave. So now 5th waves generally correct all the way down to the 0.236 line. So there's a few ways that we can look at this here, and it would bring us around to $4,400 before seeing a 3rd, a 5th, and so on. Now, again, the line here is that it depends on which part of this cycle that we are in. What I want to do here is just let everyone know that we have downside looking at around the $1,500 area, but both of our bullish case scenarios bring us upwards of $30,000 to $60,000 in the next wave moves, but how we get there and the time that it takes to get there is both drastically different. So in this particular sentiment, if we grab our Fibonacci extension and retracement tool, we drag it from the top of wave 1 and down to the bottom here, what we do see is, and for any of you that have been following our channel for a long time, we've commonly noted that wave one retracements often go to the 236 or lower, which brings us around $5,700 or 4,100. If we break below that, this was definitely a B wave, and we are going to continue lower before going higher, which would make a much longer extended bear market. But this is one of the ones I think is quite likely. I think now we might be able to count this as a one wave, see a third come up to maybe just above, maybe even higher. We know how crazy Bitcoin can be. So let's say it goes even higher, and then let's draw it like this to up into the $50,000 range here. So this is the other marker that's on the table, which is basically, was that a one wave, and do we consolidate down to the $5,800 to $3,700 area, again touching the simple 200 a week moving average. This is an extremely important area to keep an eye on, and again, the only difference that we have between the fourth and the fifth wave is, do we bounce out of the $7,700 area, again where we see the 21 week moving average, as well as the top of the weekly Ichimoku cloud. And the other important part here is to keep an eye on our eagle nest up here as well. If we break below this center line, we are going to be coming lower, and then if we break below this bottom line, we will go even lower again. So we have three current conjectures on the table right now. The middle of the one is the one I think we're in, which is a fourth wave consolidation period. That's what feels kind of awkward. The first is our bearish scenario, which is basically we all had a huge massive fake out from a B wave. And then the last scenario, again, which is that this was just a big one. We're gonna see a retracement down to the 236 and then an extension into the 5. So we have two cases for Bitcoin going to $50,000 and one case for it going down to around $1,500 to $3,000 first. The markets will decide, but we figured this was a great, easy way to share some of the data that we've been looking at over the next little while. So let's just draw that down. We've got first case scenario, which is a B wave retracement, which is a negative wave, which could bring us anywhere between $3,000 and $1,500, right? That's first choice. The second choice is the one that I think that we are currently in right now. I'm not gonna be able to do this standing up, I have to sit down. Is a fourth wave predictive with a fifth and a seventh extension into the $45,000 to $60,000 area. And then this one as well, this is a much slower way to get there, but we still do get to $50,000, which is, we just saw the first wave, we retrace all the way down to around $4,500 to $3,000 before continuing outwards of $50,000 to $60,000 as well. Now, this particular one puts us out a few months. The secondary option puts us out much closer to the $50,000 range by mid-2020. Now, the interesting part here is this bottom choice, this one that we're in right now. If we know that the halving of Bitcoin comes out in May 2020, or pretty damn close to it at least. So if we draw in October, November, December, March, April, May 2020, this line would put us right here. So there are two conjectures for the halving. Again, our fourth wave would put us around this area as well. So no matter what, both of our bullish scenarios line up with the Bitcoin halving before creating a much higher price range. The last of these actually gives us more evidence for that happening because of the drop from the third to the fourth wave and consolidation before moving up in fifth in the middle of 2020. So again, it's very interesting to see. Both of these have Bitcoin going into around $20,000 plus in the new year. If you like this content, give us those thumbs up. If you're new to the Bear family, please do subscribe and hit that little bell. That way anytime we go live, you are notified. If you guys are interested in joining our newsletter, you can sign up for free by going to arcanebear.com. If you're a brave bear and you like the extra education and our private newsletter, we've actually gone over this stuff already with our private bear members. We did it about the last 2 weeks. It will be coming out in the private newsletter as well. You can go to arcanebear.com/club and you can sign up there as well. It's $30 a month. We do offer a bunch of extra courses. We're building out a whole new educational series. We've got 6 chapters of the book that we're writing already done, and you have access to all of our previous newsletters, which even still today hold massive amounts of value because those theses still work. Anyways, still with the Arcane Bear. I'll see you guys on the other side.